with the WRC Safari Rally 2025. Revisha and feel the roar. Go, go, go! Easter happiness all around. Grand prize won! Win big with the WRC Safari Rally 2025. Revisha and feel the roar.
Kamangunenyu ale imite komye eng olda tugul ole mitei akotochin eng logoiwekab emet eng meset noto nebo mungaret ak pandaptai nomite tuwai kwane Pandaptai ara itagat. Kitaune logoiwek chok, logoiwek chetinyegei ak tetutik chebo kanaptaetab mungaret ole tesetai serikali ak tetutik chebo kanyumnyumetab yaetab mungaret eng tokyinetab kekanapta sekta nebo yaetab mungaret eng emoni. Kamwa President William Ruto kole tindoi maget serikali nebo kokochi mungarainik ak investors boroindo nekararan nebo yaetab mungaret asikwo barak mungaret ak uchumi eng emetab Kenya. Kong'ololi Ruto yikangoyote tuyet noto nebo World Chambers Federation Africa Summit 2025 eng makawet agenge eng Nairobi, ole kamwa kole tesetai kora serikali ak istoetab kewelutik chebune chemung'arainikab emoni ole boisie eng kibagenge ak kibagengeitab chemung'arainik nebo Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry eng istoetab kaimutik choto. Iyumi tuyonoto delegates cheite 4,500 ak exhibitors cheite 350 koboto kandoikab mung'aroshek cheterter ole tokchinigei tuyonoto kocheng ortinwek chebo kanaptaetab mung'aroshek chemengechen eng emet koboto mung'aroshek choto echen.
To fully realize Africa's potential, greater efforts need to be undertaken. On the one side, to increase regional trade integration. On the other side, to foster companies' participation, African companies' participation in global value chains, particularly SMEs. So on the first front, intra-regional trade in Africa, it remains the lowest among the world today. So this partially owes to the fact that Africa has very intra-regional non-tariff barriers.
For over 100 years, chambers of commerce have supported free trade. ICC and WCF represent 45 million businesses in over 170 countries. That is a strong voice. When we act together, we can help governments work with each other, not against each other.
Africa is becoming more connected, more innovative, and more entrepreneurial. Our success will depend on how prepared and committed we are to embrace this fast-changing future. And I want to thank all the other participants from across the globe for making this very important step to host this first ever summit in our part of the world. Among the world's regions, Africa has every reason to be optimistic. Our potential is undeniable. We are the world's youngest continent, home to a growing population of well-educated, highly skilled young people. Our lands are rich in untapped mineral wealth. Despite global headwinds, Kenya's economy, for example, last year grew by 5.6%, outpacing global trends. Key sectors like agriculture, services, and manufacturing are rebounding. At the grassroots, micro, small, and medium enterprises are the backbone of our economy, employing over 80% of our people. Their main constraints being limited credit, infrastructure gaps, and climate risks are in truth opportunities waiting for innovation and smart investment. Because if you look at the MSME sector, they pay very high interest rates, yet they still make money. If there was financial innovation that has products, like we tried with the Hustler Fund, it's amazing how Hustler Fund today, despite the fact that it has no collateral, up to 90% repayment is happening. County governments have and continue to play a crucial role. Together with the devolved chapters of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, counties must champion pro-business reforms, eliminate bureaucratic bottlenecks, and support local entrepreneurs. To encourage this, we are developing a county ease of doing business index to drive healthy competition, accountability, and progress.
Today, I want to underscore the vital role that MSME and cooperative play in driving Africa's economic integration through the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFC-AFTA. MSMEs represent over 80% of African businesses and employ the majority of the workforce.
Nairobi has long been a hub of innovation and commerce on the African continent. This city is home to thousands of startups, tech incubators, and creative entrepreneurs, all pushing the bounds of the possible.
Ketesetai ko kakeng'at kibagengeisiek cheterter chebo serikali kotoi chikilisiet eng chokchinet kotinygei ak kit nekonu mastinwek eng sokosiek cheterter eng county nebo Nairobi eng atkai tugul. Kamwa rubeiwotab President Professor Kithure Kindiki kole magat kobit walutiet nebo kipkoi kotinygei ak mastinwek chotok kotestai kokochi chemung'arainik asenet neo. Kong'ololi eng tuyet nekayai ak chemung'arainik chesire 400 chebo Gikomba Market chekonyor asenet kosubkei ak maat nekobel tugukwai eng kebeberta nebo Kwambao eng sokonoto bo Gikomba. Kokamwa Kindiki kole kichigili yautik tugul chebo maat sikenai kit netou ak kecheng'chi walutiet. Ole kamwa akine Majority Leader eng bunge nebo National Assembly Kimani Ichung'wah kole nyolu eng chemung'arainik kochut SACCOs asikosich rabinik cheimuchi kotoret icheket eng kanaptaetab mung'aret.
Tusimame sote kwa kumkaribisha Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais.
And Your Excellency, unakumbuka Mheshimiwa Rais akituelekeza ya kuwa sio tu mambo ya wale ambao wamepatwa na janga la moto. Akasema ni vizuri tuongee na Jagua na wale viongozi wengine wa Nairobi ili ukutane na wao vile umekutana na viongozi wa kuelezea baadhi ya shida zingine ambazo zina wakumba pale, sio Gikomba tu, Marikiti na Mudhurwa. Na as you have been briefed, Your Excellency, na chairman wa hizo soko tatu, kuna matatizo kadhaa ambayo uko nayo na ambayo utawasaidia kutatua kabla rais naye mwenyewe aje ajionee ile kazi itakuwa imefanyika.
Going forward for Gikomba, I think the toy market and a few other markets that have had repeated incidents of fire, we must go to the root cause, and therefore the President has directed the relevant agencies to investigate the causes of these fires. It doesn't make sense to imagine that all these things are accidents, because they keep on happening year in, year out. And therefore, that work is ongoing to make sure that we get into the roots of this matter and resolve it once and for all. So we are very determined to modernize trade and to dignify traders so that they can work in a place which is up to standard with all the amenities. And we are We have standardized the facilities we are providing in every market. Every market has places for selling the merchandise. Every market has a room for mothers with young children, lactating mothers, so that they can take time off, go, feed their babies, and come back and continue selling their wares. For the fresh produce trade, we are also providing cold rooms to ensure that the merchandise does not go bad. Kwa hivyo tunakazana kuboresha maslahi ya wanabiashara, wakiwemo wanabiashara wadogo wadogo, ili kuhakikisha kwamba kila mtu anajihisi ameheshimika. Mambo mmesema tung'ang'ane nayo, tutekeleze, tusaidiane. Mambo ya siasa, hakuna uchaguzi uko sahi. Kuna uchaguzi? Is there an election? Sio siku itafika.
Ketesetai ko kakokoito kurset minista nebo ripsetab kalyet eng emet orit Kipchumba Murkomen koityi familia chebo biik chekikibar eng timdo nebo Shakahola komongei kepiman DNA chekwai asikenai borwek chekikibol eng timoto bo Shakahola eng tetutiet nebo konyitetab borwek netesetai kong'ololi kokebata tuyet nekayai ak ofisaek cheechen chebo ripsetab kalyet kobun kaunti nebo Kilifi. Komwa Murkomen kole kikoib kasarta nekoi chikilisiet kosub ak netomo komongei familia ichoto kepiman DNA asikenai biikab kobo borwechoto.
So we are putting a lot of effort, but maybe in the next financial year we need to have a particular budget for closing Shakahola. Based on my briefing I've received here, I really think that there is need for a one-off budget that takes care of both collection of information, of samples, but most importantly in terms of final leg in terms of investigation, but also what to do with the people who are unable to come forward. We are unable to get DNA samples. What do we do with the site? You know, can we make it a memorial site for remembrance of these victims of, unfortunately, religious extremism and radicalization, and therefore so that it can become a place where it will remind us about our failures as a society to protect those who are victims of radicalization and religious extremism. Whether there was any acts of omission or commission on the part of the security apparatus and administration team is a matter that has not really been established. So the question is basically for us to get indeed whether there were people who are specifically culpable. Because, you know, when people say we have gone to pray, yeah, sometimes we, especially in a religious country like ours, people usually leave people and say, they are praying. Why do you disturb people who are fasting and praying? And you know, we have many sites in Kenya where people go pray and fast.
Kakomwa minista nebo mbarenik Alice Wahome kole maikochin kosubet serikali kirwogutik chetokyingei keisto eng boisiet Chief Justice Martha Koome ak kirwogik alak chebo kapkirwok nebo Supreme Court. Kamwa inendet Alice Wahome kole nyolu kebakach kapkirwok koteleljigei ole kasom biik chekokoito kirwogutik chotok eng kapkirwok ak kibagengeit noton nebo Judicial Service Commission koisto asimawechokis boisionikab kapkirwok mising ko kapkirwok nebo Supreme Court. Kong'ololi Wahome eng yatetab tuyet nenaat ko Annual Mediation Summit nekakiyai eng taonitab Nairobi.
We have all seen attacks on the judiciary. I think the judiciary must remain the bastion of justice. And the judiciary must keep away from politics. And politicians must keep away from the judiciary. I would be very slow to join groups that want to batter, that want to mess up with our judicial system. Having said that, I therefore do not support in any way, and the government is not supporting the unleashing of several cases and issues against the Supreme Court or any member of the judiciary. We must, and you know, the judiciary really must also deal with its own issues so that the complaints going through the JSC are done quickly. But then I would not support, however, I would not support the method where the lawyers are becoming the people who are unleashing almost, fatal blows to the judiciary. Because if we do that, I can tell you, if it is the lawyers, then you will find other players who are more vicious than lawyers. We must protect our space. From the lawyer's point of view, the judiciary is our space, is the space for every other person, and we cannot open the space for unnecessary fights against the judiciary. So, and therefore, I would maybe plead with my colleagues, and the two gentlemen or three or so, to reconsider how to engage the judiciary so that we don't need those cases. We need to help the judiciary to be strengthened. We need to make the judiciary more democratic. We need instruments for the judiciary. We need to fund the judiciary sufficiently. We need to finish the courts. And I know the courts are still, as there are several courts that we haven't finished. We need to look at what policy is there as lawyers that we can help to strengthen the work of the judge. We need more judges. We need more judicial officers. The more the cases are coming, you need more judicial officers. We need more training of our judges. We need to facilitate the judiciary to deliver, because sometimes I think we are demanding too much and we are offering too little.
Ngeba koi county noton nebo Bomet ole kakonerikyi governor nebo county noton bo Bomet Professor Hilary Barchok kandoik alak chebunu county noton bo Bomet chekamwa kole kokoteshi polotet tetutiet nebo roptaetab rabinikab basari koityi kipsomaninik chemaimuchigei ole bunu rabinichata serikalitab Bomet kongololi eng kiwanjetab Bomet Green Stadium kokamwa Professor Barchok kole bo kamanut ketoret lagok chemaimuchigei konyor somanet ako unoto komanyolu keyae polotet rabinikab basari chetoreti lagochoto eng mwaet kole kikipcheita rabinikab basari eng oret neititaat kongenyoru report notok kobun sirindenyo eng kebeberta nebo Bomet Festus Rono.
En ngalalenyin nekotok kokatinye kingwan
amune sikengalal ngatutik en sobetab lagochu chitugul komache kikochi nafas,
Ng'alaletab Governor Professor Hilary Barchok kokotok kotokchingei Senator nebo Bomet wakili Larry Sigei ole kamwa kole ng'alek chekokoletagei akobo rabisiek chebo basari kobo lembech ole kamwa ine kole magenyin kokonyor somanet kipsomaninik kobun korik chemaimuchigei.
Ak takaikai sobetab chitugul ndakyotitoi kamuget kotokitoret chitugul kapchi age tugul komyei sobet. But it is quite unfair. Yeboise lagochu, because of your selfish interests, you want to destroy lives of these young people. It is quite unfortunate. Ako manyohunga tipsengwit. Kokasisi nanito. Ang loleng waninda, and I have a feeling. Even tomorrow when I am not a governor, I will speak the same thing that I am speaking today. Because I want a better life for our children. Imagine mango meja lago choko beti abikyo. Imagine? But we have very competent institutions. We have ESCC. EACC inafuatilia hiyo mambo ndo mingala, lakini me EACC nyende noto na majoso ngalal akina ile indochini biik akiteteanchini biik chesaptos. And I don't have any fear to answer any question in any institution or in any forum. Momi.
Kasom Barcho kandoik koistoengei bolotet en kokoitoetab basari ak konamgei eun asikonyor kelchin biikab emet.
Let us be honest to ourselves and let us stop fighting ourselves with selfish political interests. 2027 will come. Ako biik chetisoiteni kochu. Ako nina maneun kubor bomet. Ile koberber bichu mange kora kosoman ako nai kole kayai ngo kasit ngo ne mayai.
Kabit nitok en kasarta nekomwa President Dr. William Ruto kole kokong'at Cabinet Secretary nebo somanet Julius Migos Ogamba koyai ng'alalet ak stakeholders chebo somanet kosubkei ak nekimwa controller nebo budget kole machamchin ng'atutik serkalishekab counties kokoito basari. Kiit nekaikochi kosubet Governor Barchok nekamwa ine kole tinye kamang'unet kole wendi kosuldo notok.
I'm happy with the pronouncement that has been made by our president that hatuna watoto wa national government na hatuna watoto wa county government. We have a responsibility kama wazazi, tuko na responsibility kama viongozi to ensure that each and every child is given a chance. And what we are doing as counties, as much as we are supporting education, to me, in our own definition as Council of Governors, this is social support.
Kong'eten county nebo Bomet, logoiwekab emet chebo KAS, kainenyu ko Festus Rono.
Ko notok ko terchinet netesetai kobitu kotinygei ak rabinikab basari akot eng kasarta notok kong'at President William Ruto Minister notok nebo somanet Migos Ogamba kocheng oret nekiistoen terchinet notok kibit kong'ete komwa Controller of Budget kole manyalu koek serkalishek chotok chebo county cheikoitoi rabinikab basari ole kosubkei ak Ruto kowendi kolititi notok asikotestai lagokab emoni konyor rabinikab basari asikotestai ak somanet. Ko kibendi kasarta nenwach anan komung'et nenwach asikeyekiwege ketestai ak logoiwek chok.